Okay. The spiritual part, right? Like people like Amy, you just joined the group today, so you may not know this, but I opened the group last Tuesday and it had a different name because I was really not 100% sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to start getting all of this stuff out, and I just called the group Power and Purpose for Lightworkers, and it was a little bit too general for me, but I didn't really know that the moment that I set it up, and until I started doing these daily fuels all last week. And about 3 or 4 in, I realized, this is too general for me, and I really want it to be more for creative things, but still be spiritual. So yesterday I changed the name to The Spiritual Artist, and so far I'm much happier with this. It's a much bigger, much better fit for me. But I just wanted to explain. We all know what the artist part is, right? And I'm trying to be clear about that. Not just an artist who draws, but any kind of creative person, whether you're a painter or a sculptor or a musician or a dancer, an actor, or even the behind-the-scenes people, the directors or writers and authors, poets, and anything that's creative. And just art is like an umbrella term for the whole shebang. So and then the spiritual part, though, which is important to me, it's the part where it's like, where does that talent come from? Right? For me, it comes from my higher self, my inner being. And so what I wanted to do today was just kind of tell you my spiritual journey. I'm just going to give you the abridged version, and more of this story will come out over time in this group until you'll just know it backwards and forwards. But today I'm going to give you kind of the sped up, abridged version of like my awakening and all of that. And then some things that I really realized recently that were a bit of an eye-opener for me. So let me get into the story. So my story begins, well, ever since I was a kid, really, I kind of knew, I kind of felt different a little bit. Like I kind of felt like, when I grow up, I'm going to be doing something special. I just kind of knew that, and I didn't know how I knew it. And at first, it just seemed like a natural thought to have. When I grow up, I'm gonna be amazing. I'm gonna do all kinds of things. Until all of a sudden, I realized that grown-ups didn't talk that way, and I started to think like, am I not supposed to think that? Is that a weird thing to think? And so I kind of was suppressing it, except I kept feeling that way, except I didn't really tell anybody until I met my wife. And we started dating, and then we were having conversations in the very beginning of our relationship where we were like, I feel this way. She's like, I feel that way too. And we just kind of knew like, there's a thing here. And eventually we got married, and now we have kids. And a few years ago, we not a few, like 15 years ago, we were living here in New York, and we decided to move to Florida because I had some family that lived there, and we loved visiting and everything. And right around that time, we somebody introduced us to the movie The Secret. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. It was perfect for what I needed at the time, and I'm watching this movie like fascinated, like, oh my God, this kind of this makes some sense to me, and it was my first introduction to the law of attraction as a concept that's people actually said the words, and so Laura and I watched the movie, and we were like, that's really interesting. So we started looking up the people who wrote who were in the movie, and we looked them up on Amazon, and we started ordering some books. And then as it turned out, there were other people who were not in the movie who had also been writing books on this topic, which was a big surprise to me because I thought this was a secret. And one of the books that we picked, we bought a bunch of books from people that were in the movie, but Laura, my wife, she bought a book from Abraham Hicks. So I don't know if you know who that is. I'm not going to really explain it all right now, but anyway, so the books came and we started reading, and I started reading the Abraham Hicks book, and it was just like, I totally know this. And it wasn't like I was learning something. And the interesting thing was, as I was thinking that, I got to a point in the book where it said, we're not teaching you anything. We're telling you something you've always known but have forgotten. And so I was just like, what the fuck? So I was kind of freaking out a little bit. And so it just sort of led me on my path Then there were a lot of other intermediary steps, but long story short, it kind of led me on the path to where I am now, that I feel connected to my higher self, and I realize that my artistic talent, my ability to do what I do, comes from that. Like, I'll say all the time, like, I'll write a song or I'll write a script for a video that I'm working on, and if I can kind of get in the zone, it just kind of goes blah, 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 and comes out. You know, I don't. If I'm struggling to write a song or to fix a part or to do something in a story or something, then I know I'm not connected, and I got to take a break, right? So I'll go take a break. I'll take a nap. I'll watch a movie. I'll do something else. I'll come back another time when I do feel connected. Sorry if you can hear the footprints, but as I said, I have a wife and kids, and I can't get them to just freeze while I'm live. They actually, do things. So if you ever hear that, that's what that is. But so I'll realize, gee, I'm not really connected. I haven't been meditating, or I haven't been doing my spiritual work, and now my artistic talent isn't just flying out of me. So there's that part. So the questions that I was asking today was, does your talent come from spirit? Or does your talent help you connect to spirit? Or is it both? Because my feeling is it's kind of a feedback loop. If you're familiar with a feedback loop, it's when you have like a microphone and a speaker, and so like the sound will go in the microphone and come out the speaker, but then the sound will come out of the speaker and into the microphone, and then back to the speaker and out the speaker and into the microphone, and it creates a loop of sound out of the speaker into the microphone, out of the speaker, right? And that's when you get that feedback sound. That was terrible. That was more like a dead cat than feedback. I got to work on that. Sound effects, not my core talent. So, but the spiritual feedback, right? It's like you get it from spirit, and then you put it into your talent, and then being in the zone of your talent kind of connects you back to spirit, and you can get this feedback loop going. So that was my my thought on this, and the reason for this entire thing is that's the reason for the spiritual part of the name of this group, the spiritual artist. And then came the eye-opening part that I wanted to get to, because very recently I started joining some other spiritual Facebook groups, and it suddenly dawned on me that there are a lot of people who are spiritual that believe in completely different things than I believe in. And at first I was like, what the hell are you talking about? There were some weird things that people were talking about. For me, the spiritual part is just a connection to higher self, a connection to the universe that helps me to grab that magic from the universe, or from 5D, or from whatever words you like, and to bring it down here and to sort of see it come to fruition in my life. And but a lot of people have other thoughts on it, and other thoughts on how things work, or what things are, or who people are, and stuff like that. And at first I was a little weirded out by it, until I realized, well, when it comes to, say, artists, right? If you read my earlier post today, you might have people who are very realistic painters, and you might have somebody who's an impressionist, but they're both a painter. Right? Or you might have somebody who sings rock music like I do, and then you might have an opera singer. And very different talents, very different methods, very different genres, yet both singers. So even though my version of spirituality might be what it is, your version of spirituality might be something similar or radically different. And yet they're both spiritual. And they're both something bigger than our bodies, than our selves that are here. Maybe we can agree that there's something more than just who I am in this body, and that's it. And I'm okay with that, So I'm not getting in here. I'll never. It would be very weird if I say you're only an artist if you paint with oils on canvas. That's an oil painter on canvas. That's what that is, but that's not what an artist is. Not every artist does that. So it'd be very strange if I were to say, you can only be considered spiritual if you're this way. I'll never do that. Whatever your spirituality is yours, and mine is mine. And if they're similar, great. If they're not, great. Let's learn from each other. So that's what the spiritual part means. I just wanted to be clear on that. And that's it. So I'm gonna go to the comments now, and I see some coming in. And Rena says hi, hi. Amy made it. Oh, we did these already. Peter says 5 here. A poet here. Hey, Peter. Yeah, Peter. Peter's a poet, and you draw. And was that painting or drawing? You posted something. I don't remember if it was a painting or a drawing. I'm sorry. Dan's here. What's up, buddy? Dan's here. 7. I don't know what 7 means. Why are we doing numbers? What does that mean? Peter said 5, and Dan said 7. Did I say something asking about numbers? I don't know what that means. I don't know. Peter says 100%. I guess he's agreeing with me, and well said. I don't know when that comment came in, so I don't know what I said that you're agreeing with, but thank you. I appreciate that. Rena says, can you name some other spiritual group that you were talking about? I don't remember the exact names of them. So here's what happened. So I started to look into spirituality and like for years I was very like Abraham Hicksy and Law of Attraction-y and stuff like that. And very recently, I'd say within 2020, since like the lockdown and things. By the way, keep the comments coming if you have things, because this is my favorite part. So I started learning about the people using the term ascension and awakening, and I always knew what enlightenment was and being awake and stuff like that, but suddenly this year it became like a thing that people were really radically talking about, and that I became aware of. They could have been talking about this for 30 years. I have no idea. So and 5D, right? Like moving from the 3D to the 5D and all of this stuff. So there's oh, and then it was star seeds, right? Now I've known the word star seed, but I kind of just used it as a cool word. I always like the word light worker, because it just, to me, it sounded like I use my talent and I use my spirituality to sort of be a beacon of light, and whoever it finds value in what I'm doing or saying can kind of hang out with me. I just saw light worker as that. But then there are people who see light worker as like literally we are a light for the human race to follow and up to, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that, and I don't know that that's right or wrong, but it's not that I don't believe it, it's that it's not really all that important to what I'm doing. I am just literally trying to make cool art and create cool content to help people have a better life. That's what I'm about. And if that's a light worker, great. If that's helping with the ascension, okay. So I got into it and I started looking into it, and some of it, there was a lot of religious connotation, and I went to Catholic school, so the religious stuff just kind of like, it was drilled into my head until I grew up and said, I don't want to hear any of this anymore. I'm just not into it. But if you're into it, that's perfectly fine. I don't dislike people who are into it. It's just not my thing. So like, I'm not selfish in that way. I'm selfish in the way that I'm going to do my thing, and you go do your thing. But I'm not selfish in the sense that I'm going to do my thing and you have to do my thing too, or else I don't want to know you. I don't. It's not that I don't care. I would be interested in your thing if it were radically different than mine. But right now I'm just kind of discerning and being like, well, this is cool. This, not so into that. So I can leave that out. But the question is, can I name some of the groups? Yeah, there was like Starseed Origins. There was one with 5D something or other. Then there's one that I know a lot of people are in here. It's called Gaia, the Awakened Human or something like that. I don't know the names. They have such long names with a lot of these words in it, and I don't remember them specifically. But it's stuff like 5D, Starseed Origin stuff, things about like Pleiadians. I was learning about that. And there were some people, I'll give you an example, like with like the Starseed and Pleiadian and Arcturian type stuff. There were people who were just so, I am this from this planet and this. And I was like, that's cool. I think that's awesome. I have no idea how you know that, because I've never felt anything like that. I've never thought anything like that. And now that I'm hearing it, it's not like sparking some memory or anything. Nothing. I got nothing. So I don't know. but I don't dismiss it out of hand because it's weird. You know, to me, weird is just not normal, because normal is go to school, get a good job, be a good citizen, and pay your taxes, and, you know, go to work every day, and then, you know, die so that we can have the next round of people make products for us to buy. That's what normal is, right? I am certainly not normal. So if your weird is different than my weird, I don't care. I'll look into it and I'll think it's cool. But I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact names of those groups. Well, that went off on a riff on that one. Dan Willis says Gaia. Yep. Tool, this body holding me. Is that the band Tool? By the way, that's like my new favorite band. I've always known about Tool. My favorite band my entire life was Rush. Just a quick side note, I'm a huge Rush fan. Saw them a million times, and I grew up listening to them. And then in the 90s, Tool came around, and at first I wasn't really into them. You know, they had like Sober and a couple of those songs that were very popular at the time. But their new album just came out about a year ago, and a good friend of mine was very into them. So when the album came out, I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is better than I thought. And then I started listening to their entire catalog, and oh, wow, they're like my new favorite band. Very, very spiritual, very, very, read the lyrics and listen to the music. It's unbelievable, and I would say a huge influence on the stuff that I'm writing and creating now for my music. Yes. Amy says flexibility of mind and thought about being an artist or spiritual. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I said there, but I'm flexible about it, right? And I would just ask that everybody here be flexible about it, because we all, just like we all have different artistries, we all have different modalities of spirituality. And so I'm just saying, let's just respect all the differences. You know, if I were a dancer and you were a painter, I wouldn't say like, well, you're not a real artist because you're not a dancer. That would be ridiculous. And I think we would all agree on that. But if I were a light worker, say, and you were a Arcturian, and I said that's ridiculous, well, that would just be rude, and there's no room for that. We can all be what we are here. Hashtag equals time. I don't know what that means, Peter. I'm sorry. Dan says magic numbers. Yeah. Okay. All numbers are magic, says Ray. Hey, Ray. How you doing? Nice to see you on a live. Ray knows a lot about numbers. Ray's been telling me that the numbers for the word quantity and the numbers of the dates that I've picked and stuff, they're all like really good, and I didn't know that. See, I'm not like into numerology. It doesn't mean I don't believe in it or I don't care about it. It's just that I've never been interested in it enough to really learn about it. But when somebody who is into it tells me about it, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Thank you for sharing that. Peter says Abe Hicks is a big creeperson, but interesting. She did a recording on my birthday, and I listened to it a month later or two, and it was crazy. It was like she was talking to me as if she were in that moment. I find that to be the case with Abraham Hicks videos. I could be thinking a thing, and I'll look it up on YouTube, and I'll listen. It's always spot on for me. I don't know what it is. It's very general stuff, but it always answers the question in such a way that makes me feel better, and then I see changes in my life. So that to me is like the biggest thing. It's like if I listen to something but my life doesn't get better, then I don't really care to continue doing that thing. But law of attraction stuff and the stuff from like Abraham Hicks has always been very beneficial to me, and so I continue listening. A starseed is not necessarily a light worker. Yeah, I agree with that. It's all a point of view, says somebody. Oh, see, okay, so I'm not sure who wrote that. It's all a point of view. There's a link. Did I add it today? There's a link you need to, let me see, hang on. Copy the link. Go back to here. Done. Can I? Oh, I can't. Oh, darn it. I'm sorry. I thought I could add a comment. I can't add the comment. Anyway, there's a link you got to click. That if you click it, your profile will show up, and otherwise, if you don't do that, the Ecamm software that I'm using doesn't have permission to show your profile or your name. So somebody wrote, it's all a point of view. I agree with that. I don't know who you are, though, because you need to click that link and allow Ecamm the permission to show your face, profile, and your name on my lives. You only need to do that one time, and then you're good for all my lives in the future. Yep, Tool the band. Yes, I love Tool. Me too. An awakened band. Absolutely. Becky says, awesome. I will check out the band Rush. Yeah, Rush, still one of my favorites, but unfortunately the drummer, he passed away this year, and so they won't be doing it anymore. That's sad. Numbers equals time of day where we are. Oh! You're like, it's 5, 7. I'm such an idiot. That's great. Because I said it's 6 o'clock here, and you said it's 5 here. Except I read it like 10 minutes later, so I don't know. You just wrote 5 here. I'm like, you're a 5? What does that mean? Are we ranking ourselves on a scale? Here's a funny story for you. This is kind of funny. So I told you at the schools now. My kids are both in high school. My daughter is a senior. My son is a freshman in high school, and so they go to school 2 days a week in school, 1 day at home, and then 2 days they're kind of doing home study and stuff like that. And but at the school they have to do the masks and there's the social distancing and all the things, right? So they gave all the kids this what's it called, like a survey to fill out, and it was on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel? And my son just put a 5. I feel great. He's thinking, right? And then it said, what's making you feel this way? And he writes home, because he's thinking, when I go home, I feel better. I don't really like being here. Well, he didn't read it well, because what it said was on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel? 1 being I feel very good, 5 being I'm very depressed. And he put a 5. And then it said, what is the reason for your answer? And he wrote home. So the guidance counselor gets this thing now and sees that he's very depressed because of home. So they called him down, your numbers thing. I don't know if anyone's laughing or not. That's the problem with telling funny stories on a live like this. I can't tell how the reactions are, but I just have a dead camera staring back at me. I'm going to imagine that you're all rolling around laughing at how funny and articulate I am. And numbers equal time of day. Peter says, I'm in agreement that these numbers are meaningful. And Amy is, listen, see, Amy's laughing. Amy put a smiley laughy face. Thank you. I'm going to say, there's some. I see them popping up now. I'm going to assume that you all were, because I'm hysterical. Okay, guys, that is all I got for today. And that's all you got, because I don't see any comments coming in. Amy, you're the last comment of the day. That means you get the booby prize. The person who does the last comment of my live gets the booby prize for the day. So congratulations. Of course, I always announce that, and then I keep talking, and then some other comments come in, and then you lose it. So you got to make sure nobody else comments. But I think we're done here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate the energy that I'm feeling in this group. I'm going to be bringing this every single day. You are welcome to join me as often as you can. See, Peter said, now you get the booby prize. Sorry, Amy, you lost it. But anyway, it's really an honor to be able to do this and to have you guys here. So thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.